because all I can see more from this is creating more Hamas. Kicking off for a new episode, we're going to be talking about Israel, Palestine, Hamas, war going on in the Middle East, right?
Yep. Isn't it interesting how it's like there's that Israel Hamas? Like that's how it's said.
Yeah, because
it's like Israel Palestine.
Yeah, because apparently they claim they're fighting the terrorists. But really it should be Israel Palestine because
Right. Actually, you know what?
They're killing more Palestine than they're killing more Hamas.
You just said apparently, so hey, kick that off. You actually just went into the perfect question.
Yeah, I mean they are killing more Palestinians than they're killing Hamas, isn't it? I mean, if the war is against Hamas,
should be killing just Hamas.
It should be killing more Hamas. But it's war against the Palestine because I think their death rate should be about like what now? I think I lost count. It used to be about like 12,000 when I was cautious about it. And then I think injury should be like around 45,000.
This is a day. Oh, total. A day.
No. That's the total. Oh, God.
I was like, yo.
That's a genocide. I mean,
Well, bro. I mean, what else can we call it right now? I mean,
how many Israelites have been killed?
I think the reason why,
How many Israelis have been killed?
I'm about to check.
I don't think they've killed up to 1,000.
Israelis?
That's all, right?
No, I don't think they've killed up to 1,000.
That bomb that was popular, that made the news.
So,
where they
so
killed
far,
Israeli kids.
You've guessed 1,000?
Yeah.
What's your guess? Israelis have been.
I have no idea. 1,000? 1,000?
More than 1,200.
Okay.
So at least we know 1,200.
Yeah.
That's not a lot at all.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, it's like a...
And it depends on what sources that you might even check to. They'll even give you.
You understand the context?
But at least they're all around the same.
Yeah.
So
you guys want to take a stab at the number of Palestinians?
It's a range.
What'd you say?
The number of Palestinians that have been killed. 20,000.
20K?
Yeah.
Martin, what about you?
20.
I heard it was 12 before.
You said killed, right?
Yeah.
No, the death toll. So I should be. I think it should be. It should be within that. I should be within that 16,000 to around around that 20,000.
16 and 20?
Yeah, 16.
A total of 31,000 Palestinians
Whoa.
in Gaza Strip have been killed as of 13 January 2024.
Well, as of 13.
Which is
See, my statistics that I was using was even from November.
yes.
That's something wild. Like, I mean, 20, 30K, that's not too much. I'm like, that's actually a lot.
Wait, I think what are you calculating? You got to do it. You have to know the population of the people that are in there.
Yeah, but I mean, I heard when you say like 12K.
The chunk of percentage.
Yeah. That's how, I mean, what else are you going to base your?
That's how you can judge how much
Yeah.
is happening to a group of people.
I mean, otherwise, if you just said, 30 people.
Yeah,
30,
I know what you're saying. If there are a billion people and 20 to 30K, then it's not that different, bro.
Right.
But that's a real or drastic population loss. Like
It is. From my experience, I've realized that a lot of terrorist organizations, sometimes they tend to come from people who think they are fighting for something greater than themselves, for something they feel like is justice. Like, say in the case of like Boko Haram, apparently how their history started with the Yusuf guy and everything about fighting against Western whatnot, and then for example IPOB who believe that they are being oppressed and whatnot, and then the states ends up prescribing them, or even I don't remember the names of the guys who started World War I at some point. That the assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand. They usually start off as people fighting for what they believe is justice, then they go overboard. And I believe the states, as it should be, does determine who is and who is not a terrorist. If you're killing people, if you're killing innocent people, and you get prescribed the terrorist group, so it is what it is. There has to be some kind of order.
I mean, it's one thing if it's within your own nation you're being called a terrorist. It is one thing if it's within your own nation or community you're being called a terrorist, and it's one thing for an outside this thing to call you a terrorist.
True. Let me say something though.
It's one thing for Palestinians to call Hamas terrorist. And it's one thing for Israel to call Hamas a terrorist.
That's a good point. Okay, but if you're asking for my own definition of a terrorist organization, if if you're fighting for something and you along the way, the minute you start killing innocent people in whatever thing you're fighting for, I think you're a terrorist. That's to me. But
How do you now quantify innocent people sometimes?
if you're killing people that have
Nigerian governments
Yeah.
have said some
sometimes they
people
state terrorism.
Right.
There is state terrorism.
Okay.
So, but once you start killing innocent people who are trying to get their daily bread, at that point, that's a terrorist act. But most times, nations proscribe groups as terrorist groups within their country. Or in Israel's case, well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a different case though.
Well, I mean, even though we have the narrative, there's one thing for an outside need. But I mean, I think when your motto is for like a wipeout of a whole race or something like that, you're a terrorist group, man. Yeah, you're a terrorist group, man. I'm sorry. Like, I don't even understand how like there's no you cannot be of any kind of a positive agenda. Like, if you know what it is, like when you say something is your motto, it means that's your identity, that's what you stand for. So how can you go about anything reasonable when your motto is the destruction of life?
So are we saying that in history, there hasn't anyone that has been like, more part of our motto is to fuck niggas up and actually got to do it, actually succeeded?
I don't think so. I
I
mean,
thought there was one bigger goal.
of course, there's always a
Get
bit.
there was this we're gonna fuck shit.
Yeah. I think to fuck shit up is always a standby, but like
Yes.
your prime motto, your flag, your emblem is
It's something that gets you to watch your motto.
so when
is.
so let's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought the motto is the whole we want our own state. We need to fuck shit up to get there.
No, Hamas's motto. No. The Palestine's motto is to get their own state. Now, don't mistake these two advocates. They're a little bit different. So yeah, but Hamas's motto is the eradication of Israel. Like, so let's I don't know. So what if, God forbid, what if it happens, right? So what are you guys living for after that? Like do you guys just be like, oh God, all right, man, I think I'm done living. Like, I've achieved my whole goal. I don't need to populate this earth no more. I don't need to give birth. Like, what do you do? I don't understand. What do you do after that? Like, it don't make no sense. I don't know. So for that, I definitely think they're
That's
terrorists.
scary, Sha. Imagine someone's life goes to eradicate you.
Yeah, like just imagine. Like a vendetta.
That's
And it's not
someone has to die.
you took it away. You took it away from just like being something so
Yeah.
personable. You took it to like, yo, as long as these people keep having kids and their kids are born under like the Hamas regime, they're supposed to buy into destroying it all. Like, that's crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's wild.
So like I mean, from a part of sympathy, is there no way that we can say that oppression eventually leads you? Like for example, if part of the black community and was like, we're gonna go to war with some white people for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Would you look at that and be like, really your motto is to eradicate white people for real? Or would you say from long bits of suffering, I guess some videos have picked up arms eventually?
See, being naturally someone who tries to understand other people's motives, it's not a surprise that like those kind of groups keep springing up in usually oppressed people. So I think it's a dumb thing to do. You get
I mean,
but
isn't any liberator a terrorist?
true. That's my point earlier. They usually believe in something greater than themselves. They have what they think is a positive goal in their own heads. But yeah.
So I mean, but then we did say that your definition of terrorism was the loss of innocent lives.
Yeah. I think when
some
you
liberators did achieve that without killing of innocent lives. Should this still be considered terrorists?
I don't think so. If I believe in their goal, I wouldn't say I'm a terrorist.
Right, but then we have overarching things like the ICC that dub.
Yes, like
Actually, good question. Do we even believe in that? What's your take on the ICC?
let me give you a good example. Some people don't think IPOB is a terrorist group. To today, a lot of people don't see them as a terrorist group, but like they are prescribed as a terrorist group. So at the end of the day, it depends on who you're asking.
I mean, sometimes
legally,
it does. Sometimes it's not just. I mean, yeah, legally we get it, but like sometimes like legally to what? Legally to someone else's agenda, to someone else's purposes. Like Netanyahu is a terrorist, but ICC doesn't say he's a terrorist. I think he's a terrorist. Like
Yeah.
like you're flying what's it called? Stealth bomb and carpet bomb in a country that has no air defense system. For what reason? Like that's not a war. It's not proportionate. Like you understand what I'm trying to say? It doesn't make no type of sense. Like you bring in an arsenal to a guerrilla strategic warfare. Like right now they will kill more Hamas if Netanyahu has put more money on guerrilla tactic strategy. And I'm not saying like sometimes in war, because if you declare war on someone, I'm not saying you shouldn't have like certain things. Like for example, like the United States just bombed Yemen, the Houthis in Yemen. But you see the kind of missile that they use, precision guided missile with very, very low explosion impacts. This is things that Israel should be like. If anything, what the United States just did is to prove that Netanyahu is a war criminal. Like if anything, because they knew what they were trying to do is send a message. You know what I'm trying to say? Like so, and this is all what's it called? Israel has in its arsenal in comparison to October 7th. Like someone needs to at least at some point someone needs to find Pierce. Huh?
That's through versus support. What do you mean by that's what they have in their arsenal?
Yeah. I mean, like the United States. The United States is the biggest funder of Israel's what's it called? Israel's war arsenal. And I mean, even though, do you even know they are the only one that have the benefits to be able to tweak what they buy from the United States to adjust it to certain things like.
They could even go custom. Be like, nah.
That's what I'm trying to say. They're the only one that's allowed to do that. I mean, that is allowed to do that legally. Iran does it now, but they have like old what's it called? United States jet fighters. They have like maybe F-14s, F-15s. Those are like old since 1970. No. They bought it back then when the United States gave it back then to Iran when they were trying to defeat Iraq.
Okay.
When they were at war with Iraq, and proxy exactly. So like your point about or terrorists or who should be a terrorist. I mean, sometimes we don't have to just leave it to the upper hand or the upper hand, because sometimes the cry of the people demanding of what is necessary should be what is paramount. Because like you cannot tell us Netanyahu is not a war criminal. All this death toll of the people that is on his head. Before any of the Israeli military came into any kind of conversation with Hamas, it was maybe like 6 days, 5 days serious airstrike bombing. Like, come on, man. Like who do you? And they're saying like let's be reasonable. Let's be very reasonable. Like like Israel could do a way better job than what they've done. They could do a way better job. Like, and the reason of what the benefit of why the world, embraces Israel is you look at the religious doctrine and heritage of what they have, what they've been through, the tales, maybe it might not even necessarily be tied to what it is, the Israel now, but that's the sentiment with a lot of Western ideology. You know what I'm saying?
I know it's funny you even said how you guys would actually even connect with Israel's history a little bit and tie it into the black history. Remember you mentioned that point?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the oppression, everything. I think we can relate more to Israel than I would say like Palestine.
Of course.
Because of the black prejudice and the prejudice that Jews have faced all over the world, leading to their migration and their wants for their own country. That's why they all fled and everything. But anyway, see, like your one state policy thing, I actually think that all of them are from the same family. Palestine.
What is the one state policy thing?
I know he believes that they should. You want to tell the story, or should I just say?
I mean, no. The one state policy that I talk about is almost like even tied to biblical ideology. Like he was mentioning, like they're all their history
They're
is
all
so
related.
intertwined for so long. Like even the first prime minister of Israel, the woman, what's her name? Oh my God, I forgot what her name is. The lady. She was a very good friends with what's his name? Idi Amin.
Was it the first prime minister? So this one said
No, she was a woman, the first female Israel prime minister.
Golda Meir.
Golda Meir, exactly. Thank you. She if you look at her footage where she gave an interview that she used to be a Palestine. She is a Palestine. She said that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if you're Jewish and you lived there, you were Palestine.
Yeah.
I see.
So
I see.
the ideology of a Jewish state or a Jewish or Israel, the recognition of Israel didn't come until 1948.
Yeah.
So, but even now, for me, like, let's say because we're trying to draw you're asking for sympathy for like for the Palestine. Let's look at a point of sympathy for like the Palestine. Look at the Jews. If they were really, really fighting for a place of birthright and all this kind of things, and there was never any kind of scheming or any kind of thing to create like a Israeli state, what was all the calculation on maybe it should have been Uganda, it should have been Argentina, it should have been, all these surveys and all these things that they did. All this, like, now, if we look at Idi Amin's narrative is a terrible narrative, more than, maybe now some of his stories coming to light, but Idi Amin is a Ignite, someone that came up from a militia military, group to being, going into the Queen's army, and then, gain all this experience and whatever the case might be, and then, overthrowing the president of Uganda at that time. You wouldn't even know they were using him he was used to overthrow the president that he overthrew. And the reason why he kicked the Jews away from Uganda was in reference to what was going on with the Palestinians, because he understood what was going on and he was a sympathizer. Idi Amin and Golda Meir were good friends. They talk about it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Did he want?
So wow, because he said the whole thing. Like, he made a statement. He was like, Amin stated that Hitler was right to burn 6 million Jews.
Yeah, because he
said what?
He said Hitler was right to burn 6 million Jews.
To ban or burn them.
No, to ban, like to kick them.
Burn them. To burn.
Oh, to burn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that was wild. But yeah, I mean, when you make reference, like I said, I don't stand for.
Obviously.
I don't stand for it, but I understand where he's coming from in a place of a leader of a group of people. Because he understood the same, what's it called, that was going on. Like the way, what is going on in, what's it called?
Palestine?
The apartheid state that's going on in Palestine right now.
Yeah.
He understood that was what was going to come. His country was in contemplation for one of those things.
See, I get it though, from both sides, in the sense that they all believe that the strip of land is theirs for so many years, and they've lived scattered over the world. Both the Ashkenazi, that's the ones in I think Germany, the Jews in Germany, the ones in USA,
the
Spanish
Ashkenazi,
ones,
yeah,
the
they're all
Sephardim,
just kind of,
all of whatever. That then they all the things they had been through, both in Germany and especially Russia as well. So I kind of get wanting a place to call home, and then they all had all that Jewish ideology in their head.
well, it was really the Zionist
movement,
that was really pushing for
them to come back to their land over time. But then, like, from this perspective of the Arabs, now these are like people who, like, you've grown up not knowing. Then all of a sudden they all come, like, with all the aliyahs, the migration, coming to your own land, and suddenly you're now in minority.
And you want to even understand, like, you want to understand what is funny is because, like, people never understand, like, there's a big breach between the Western Europeans and Jews. Like, they've always been the most detrimental things to the Jews, in the sense that, like, even the large flocks of Jews into Islamic region was because they were running away from Western
Yeah, from
European,
Western Europe.
Western European Christians and Western and Eastern European Christians, because, like he said, during Lenin time they killed a lot of Jews. During the Marxist time, they killed a lot of Jews. Hitler killed a lot of Jews. Even before that, like
Very clearly, have a
I was finding out that the First Crusade. Do you know what the First Crusade was
She
against?
didn't read too much.
The First Crusade was against killing Jews. That is crazy. So there was a guy. I don't know if this is a big speculation. He was talking about that even the Catholics were funding. I know this can be true. So don't let me even bring too much. I haven't even thought much. Yeah, because he was saying the Catholics were funding Mohammed. They were funding Mohammed to create Islam, so that they could have more oppression, more team again ganging up against the Jews. And then all of a sudden, the Islam became so big
Why would the Catholics do that to Jews?
because the Catholics have always been killing Jews from the beginning. The Catholics
That
funded
makes
Hitler.
sense. Well,
The Catholics were in cahoots with Hitler. What's it like? You didn't?
I don't know about the Catholics and Hitler.
Check that.
No, you could look it up.
I don't know about Catholics and Hitler.
I mean, you could. It's things you could find. I mean, World War II's Pandora's box has been opened a long time ago.
It's important to note that while Hitler was baptized Catholic, he didn't identify as devout Catholic, but there was later religious affiliation.
So
What
I mean, that's what do you want him to read out again?
Many
Like
Catholics throughout history have condemned his actions, but the Catholic Church had actively worked to address
Nazism.
the spread of the ideology he promoted.
So
the Catholic Church
not against it?
There was clear connection before. The Catholic Church is now doing a lot to address Hitler's opinions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're like,
they're trying to push themselves away from it.
I mean, I don't know.
Bro, wait, what do you think? What's Catholicism and
No,
crusade?
I'm not-
Do you
that
and the
wouldn't-
crusade? Do you
that wouldn't
understand
That
that?
wouldn't surprise me at all. But I'm not saying
Catholic in the 1930s. Most of them lived.
No, yeah, 1939 was when World War II started.
See, the Catholic Church has been accused for a
Oh,
lot.
World War no, I'm sorry, that's World
See,
War.
the Catholic Church
One.
has been accused of doing a lot of things in
Ended.
the past.
True.
That wouldn't surprise me. I just don't know. That's it. Really.
Well, there is a follow-up which I will be right. The Catholic Church in Germany opposed the Nazi Party, and in 1933 elections, the proportion of Catholics who voted for the Nazi Party was lower than national average. Although it does mention that there were some people who did vote for the Nazi Party.
Yeah, okay, but
support.
that is different in the sense that, like, then there was no even they didn't support. That didn't have nothing to do with the Jews, because then I don't think Hitler was he wasn't that flamboyant about what he was going to do to the Jews. You get what I'm trying to say?
were
So
supporting
no,
Nazis.
the support really came more when they saw his motive that, oh, you're going to advocate more for Christianity and bring down the Jewish society. So that's when what's it called? I would say more of the support came. But anyways, so either way, but you would think like the Arabs have always have like the biggest hatred towards the Jews.
Right.
But the Arabs' beef is with Christians, not with Jews. Yeah.
Interesting. So at this point, would you just tell the whole Hamas thing, like, look, what's the consequence of this war at this point? You're losing your lineage, people are dying. Just give up.
See, I was with Chida Low, right? When he was talking about, you said something about like, something like Hamas comes from oppression. And he's very right. Like I think Hamas would have made so much sense. Like, I don't even think, because even a lot of people that advocate for Hamas, they're trying so hard to advocate for Hamas. And it's so hard because, like, how can you advocate for someone that, like, they're not realistic? You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, what is a negotiation between Israel and Hamas when your motto is the destruction? Like, why would I want to go and negotiate with someone that, like, his motto is my destruction? Anytime I even feel like we're supposed to sit down and negotiate, I feel like this guy is his last mission on Friday is like to blow me up.
It's not negotiation. Anything he's gonna agree on is detrimental to me.
like you go.
So how you find it too? Because you started it with you agree with him on the whole oppression thing. But you're gonna tie it in.
No, I'm saying like Hamas should have had a better presentation. Your motto cannot be tied to something like people's genocide or anything like that. Like then you can find sympathizers because anybody can understand. Hey, Nelson Mandela was once a terrorist, all right, and now he's one of the greatest presidents that's ever ruled South Africa. You know, well, I'll let the South Africans speak for that, but
we'll bring one on the show.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So like until your narrative is well heard, and everybody can plead a case for it, then you know a certain part of it might change. That's what I'm trying to say. But like when your motto is not even something to bring to the table to talk about, like we gotta be able to be reasonable and start from somewhere, man. Like
right, because if we really look at Christianity, right? Look at the motto they came with. Even if they did a bunch of what they did, the motto wasn't "we're coming to extinguish."
You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Even if you do something bad, you can always come out and say, "Hey, it's the bad ones amongst us. Those don't represent us all."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like saying you're fighting racism, but you want to destroy white people.
Yeah, exactly. Like you know what I'm trying to say? Like
it makes no sense.
Yeah, like that's exactly what. So, but in all honesty, Hamas has to go.
Well,
Hamas has to go.
I have a counter though, actually. But what if maybe like when Palestine presented like that they wanted their own state and they couldn't get to middle ground with Israel? Maybe that's what led to Hamas spending.
Well. In props to the Israel's part, like don't let's make it seem like since 1948, like you know, a lot of wars. There's a 6-day war that happened. The several wars that happened. So these people have tried to show their braggy rights, and they lost. So clearly, you know, because they instead of them believing more on strategy, they were more on their religious doctrine to fight the war. Israel had a great backbone like the United States of America that can give them the right necessary tools and information and everything that is needed to be able to win war. And they had qualities of jets. Did you know how much Air Force ability Egypt used to have? And all this Egypt, Syria, Lebanon, Iran, and who else? I'm missing someone. I know I'm leaving someone else. They all declared war on Israel, and Israel took care of business. So we have to. Israel has paid its dues.
You're missing Jordan for that list.
Jordan, I'm sorry, that's exactly what the last one was. Jordan.
Arab states.
So Israel has paid its dues. Don't let's act like to make sure something like Hamas never existed. Israel could have been the first one to advocate for a one-state policy. They could have been the first one to advocate for it. And in that sense, understand that you are chasing for a goal, or you're chasing for a kind of atmosphere or demographic that you want in this kind of geopolitical location, and aim for that. But make sure that the Palestinians that are there are well taken care of. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's just the same way black people feel like they're Americans now. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like every black person can feel like, oh, I'm American, and you don't. There's no open box for you to feel like, oh, I have a dyad hatred for this country. You understand? Because I feel like I still feel like a slave in the country.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say? So Israel could have aimed for all those kind of things. But I felt like one thing I've been noticing about Israel is they are very revengeful. It's like ever since any of those war has happened, you understand what I'm trying to say? And they claim victorious. All they've ever done is create more atmosphere for oppression.
Yeah. Well, and
one thing to learn about in history is look at the United States. There's something called the Reconstruction Act. This is after when the Civil War, when the Union defeated the Confederates. The Union, not the Confederates, the Union was still the one that came together and they were like, look, we've won the Civil War and we know they're broken. Now it's time to make sure that they don't feel remorse and hatred, because we're still trying to make them a part of the United States of America. All these things that we're talking about is not fantasy. You understand what I'm trying to say? These are things that have been history. These are things that have been booked, that are put out there so we can see. Israel could have created this one-state policy if they had showed the Palestine so much kindness because they do not have a country of their own. You understand what I'm trying to say? If they've given them a home,
genuine home, the Palestinians would have been want to fight Hamas away from Gaza.
Yeah.
But guess what? They had no other choice. They had no other choice. And what they're doing now, what Netanyahu is doing right now, is giving them no other more choice. Because all I can see more from this is creating more Hamas.
Of course.
True, because you're basically inciting more hatred for Israel.
Exactly.
Kids, all of that.
If they felt part of Israel, they would have helped flush out the Hamas. They would have been easier to defeat, much easier, instead of having to wipe out the whole Palestine.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? There's so many ways Netanyahu could have gotten this right. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, there's so many ways. Like, bro, you have the United States at your back, man. Come on. Like.
That's why you feel the same way about Zelensky. You got the US too.
Well, no. Well, Zelensky is a bro. Okay, back to the beginning of everything else. We just talked about Israel has proven a point from the 6-day war, from any other war that has happened.
Pay the dues.
They paid the dues. Israel is not Ukraine. The dues have been paid. They're a powerhouse in the region. They were the power. They're still the most strongest power. The technological advancement is the most paramount in the region. Do you know the capability of the Iron Dome? It's in comparison to the United States Patriot defense. So, or if not better, I'm sorry, I don't know which one I might be. The claim is 98%, the Iron Dome. 98% efficient. You might as well call that 105. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? But so you cannot compare Zelensky to, what's it called? Ukraine to, and Ukraine doesn't have another powerhouse.
You actually claimed 90.
90. Oh, 90? So maybe, is it the Patriots that claims, what's it called? 98?
1998.
Huh?
Right? We still go fuck shit up, but yeah.
Yeah, 1998. Hey, I feel you. Either way, round that bitch up. Like, bro.
Okay, there's a big difference if you miss it. Miss out by a couple
No.
22.
Hey. They are right. It's 90% because where was all these 7,000 missiles Hamas shot?
Exactly.
Iron Dome was busy making sure it was picking them off.
Yeah, sorry, we're making a point. So Ukraine, yeah.
So Ukraine is not what's it called?
Yeah.
Israel is a powerhouse in its own self. Now Zelensky is just when its time comes, like you said, sometimes some of us need to be able to start reading the picture better than, waiting for the ICC to tell us exactly what it's going to be. Because, hey, Zelensky is going to be arrested as a war criminal. I'm sorry. Like, for real. Like, no. Like, who do you think is about to keep sending all their what's it called, resources to you? And you're running one of the most corrupt countries even before the war. Like, do you know how much America has invested? Do you know how much America has invested in the Ukraine war? So far, over 50 billion over that in the Ukraine war. And do you know how much America invested in the creation of Israel? $3 billion? Do the math. Well, maybe let Joe Biden tell you exactly the math, but he knows that exactly because he spoke so passionately about how America was going to go out there and create Israel.
US will turn against Ukraine very soon. Then US will turn against Ukraine.
I wouldn't necessarily say I wouldn't say US is going to turn against Ukraine, but I'm saying, like, the US is one of the most smartest country, if not the smartest country in the world. Like, I'm pretty sure we have a lot of great mathematician that understands that, like, maybe this Zelensky is not the right nigga to invest in. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, yeah, maybe whichever way they thought it would be able to show him paying out. Investments got to pay back, bro.
Right. So if they lose, I mean, so is it fair to say the US?
I don't think the US has lost in any kind of perspective. Let's be very clear.
Yeah,
the United States.
More like
The United States did a very, very good arithmetical calculation with this whole thing. They understand the Russian, what's it called, infantry. They understand how the capability of what Russia is. Maybe not to the best of capability that they might want it, but trust me, all of it was a good intel for the United States. I mean, Russia has been United States' greatest ops for the longest time, innit? So yeah, this is and you haven't seen You haven't seen Mexico try the United States like that, or you haven't seen Canada try the United States like that.
Really? Canada?
I mean, okay. See the way you're saying it. I'm pretty sure that's.
I get it.
Toronto Raptors?
No, I'm saying, but I'm pretty sure that's the way. President Putin was looking at it too, like, really, Ukraine, really, like. I mean, he got to be really looking at Ukraine like that because the way this dude put up all his armor tank, like right in front of the borders of Ukraine, was insane.
Fair enough.
So, but yeah.
Fair enough.
But no, Netanyahu is a war criminal, and he needs to definitely be questioned for a lot of things.
I wanted to kind of bring it back to some African matters concerning the ICC because I just think, I guess, what do you guys feel like having this world body give its opinion on other countries, right? Because for a lot of years now, African countries have come out and say the ICC is ripping us off. They're always calling out people doing heinous crimes across the world. But when it's African people then struggle, they're not, the laws don't always go towards us. Except here and there, the DRC president was sentenced recently or something like that. So people go, the ICC gets funded by Europe, like somebody clearly pays them. Do you guys think, we should still have a governing body? And it just sucks that Africans were not early enough to support the ICC creation, right? Or are you like, let states just handle their business, because why is there next to no?
I mean, I think there has to be a governing body. If not, like
Chaos.
Yeah, people will do whatever the fuck they want to do, and people still do sometimes.
Yeah, but he's saying like the African leaders feel like they feel like they are being ripped off. They feel like their own 1 and 2 is not being put into perspective.
I get. I'm just saying there has to be a governing body, but I feel like Africa needs to bring up itself more to an extent. Let's be honest, we're still behind, of course. So if we're thinking that fairness is going to come to us, we have to take it by ourselves.
We have to earn it.
You're saying, you gotta be a governing body, and it just sucks, and it is what it is. But
we're not there yet. Yeah, to just demand whatever we want and we'll get it like that. Mm-hmm. We have to play the right politics.
Isn't everything we've been doing just demanding?
That's the thing, dude. That's what we do. We need to work hard.
He's right. I really am with him, though. He's really, you really do have great points. Like, I feel like, like it's almost like even look at us. Like, what have we invented in the realm of politicking? We buy a form of government. We, our constitution is based off of different people's ideology.
We took lobbying and made it our own. Our type of finesse in Africa is unique.
We took what?
I said we took American lobbying and made it our own. The way we finesse.
I mean, well, then again, I don't know. Maybe you're an enabler or an encourager, but
everything we do. I mean, she's borrowed.
But like I said, you have to have. Like he's saying, you really do have to have your own ideology. Like we haven't appreciated, we haven't found our own philosophers, we haven't found our own innovators. Like in the realm of politicking, like you understand, like democracy we don't even we have a title of democracy that we should be calling autocracy, or we should call it a casino royale, like literally, but we call it democracy. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like we haven't gone through reform. We haven't taken ourselves seriously. You haven't seen African leaders come together and run an institute. ECOWAS is financed by a higher institution, but it's called West African. Like everything about us is just like a joke. Like, you know what I'm saying? So do you think people that are running, that they feel like they're running a first class mind, will let a joke team that they're still oppressing, now sit down with them to make dialogue about nuclear understanding, nuclear prolifications? Really? You haven't even built one grenade. You want to come and give doctrine on terrorism and war criminal? Like, why you have terrorists governing you guys and run as the president?
I feel like this is a good segue to even that African Nations Cup thing, to be honest. Like how backward we are, how we copy everything, like no source, like form of originality. Like how do we think we're gonna? It's been so many years with our population. No African countries won a World Cup till today.
How can you?
How? If If
How
all we
can
do is
you
just try to maybe be like other people, no, we don't see Brazil for example. Their first couple of World Cups. There's one common thing about that team that we don't even have: the originality. Their actual national club teams, Santos, produced one of their best players of all time. Not what we do. We just everything we do is exporting, and then we import finished goods. That's all we do for everything.
Yeah, we're on.
That's all we do. Even we're exports. That's true. We're all over right here. We're basically exports.
Yeah. No, I mean
Originality.
that's it. Like, but no, it goes back to that, like, okay, because we cannot always just talk about these condemnations without finding a solution to this.
Beautiful. And
So this thing.
See how you guys brought up that we do this, we do that, right? I
Yeah.
think some African leaders that are truly giving a new. You see, like South Africa's Malema, like, but there's some people that you guys are already seeing. I like the way this guy is thinking, or I like this operation.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
Oh yeah, oh
I
yeah.
100% believe so. I think there are people who the reason I have
examples, like,
the reason I have hope. No, even just you, people I've met. Like there are people who are asking those questions, who are even involved in the groundworks of those things, with those same like ideologies of wanting our like greatness for our continent. We're actually pure, like actionable means of achieving these goals.
Okay.
You get me? Like I've listened to the like Julius Malema guy. He sounds like someone who knows what he's about. There've been guys in the past who had those same like Kwame Nkrumah, even guys today. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
I think there are people like that for sure.
Okay.
The little progresses we see, there are reasons for that. So it's just having those conversations and actually doing things.
I want to say, like, see, the problem we have is I will try to give like different kind of illustrations to so many different kind of things. Let's look at, for example, let's do the analogy of a diaspora. Now, I say diaspora because like I feel like Black people we are left behind on a lot of things. The era where we have too many eras to be able to catch on to, and we need to be able to do it so fast. And the best way to be able to do it is by a network of diaspora, like people and that's hard too because it's a powerful thing to want to love the source of where you really come from, to understand the roots of something, understanding the source of something. Like for example, for you as a Black individual, we are the only one that fails to understand that like we need to be able to create like a great foundation before you can actually spread out to other kind of things. Like, and I say that to say like it would take. I love the illustration of when you give, like you say, when you say people like us or whatever, it would take people that like all we've had in African leaders are people that are looking up to something, and whatever things they could see in the cloud, they try to put it into formulation. You understand what I'm saying? It's a risky play. It's a risky game. Like look at the creation of if Kim Jong-un. Guess where he schooled?
Let me guess, US
and England as well.
Most of them studied in England.
Modi for India right now. Guess where he schooled?
England.
What's it called? And what's his name? For Xi Jinping. Look, I mention all these people, but watch all these people that I called and watch their country. They're the first generation country. And I mean, like, if you understand what is the narrative for first generation country right now, atomic worth. If you have an atomic power, everybody respects you, regardless of any way anybody looks at you.
Yeah. True.
And all these people are able to.
What do you see the bachelor's degree in political science from the School of Open at Delhi University? In 1983, you see the master's in political science from Lugards University.
He never schooled outside of India. Modi never schooled outside of India.
So I'm checking the Delhi University.
Check King Jong-un, check whatever. But I'm pretty sure there's other people. I'm just giving an example of people within the administration.
But they're well educated.
They're well. It's not even just well educated. I don't just want to leave it at well educated. You could be well educated by me just bringing textbooks into your country, and that's as far as it goes. And you could be well educated by you being in the infrastructure of where those textbooks are being brought into your country.
Yeah. No, I do agree. Traveling, going out states, learning about other people is also.
Those are what I'm trying to. Those are what I'm trying to tell you. You see why King Jong-un and all those people might have certain Osama bin Laden. It's another example.
Yeah.
Even there's so many of these what's it called? People, they've been to the United States.
Let me say one thing, Sha, to be fair. Like even before this guy did what he did, like with Lagos and everything, Tinubu did school in the US. I think I'm pretty sure
I know I'm trying to. That's what. I was giving the point. What I'm trying to say is like it's the diaspora that really do have a mindset for the loving for where they really come from, their motherland.
Wherever made you sick, it's very hard to get healed from where made you sick. You do need to go out sometimes and actually
and see the world.
Yeah.
It's in everything. The story of Abraham is in everything. Even though you want to call it theological, it's a historical and there's logical things.
It does not mean that I don't agree.
No, because sometimes you say. I mean, I get you, but you were saying it to disprove or to.
No, see, mine is just like
You're trying to use it to dummy down certain factors about what certain things mean.
Me. I'm not dumbing it down.
You
get
that's
I was just trying to
whatever. Anyway,
like actual happen. See, I don't read the Bible as like I'm reading like a fact to know the history of something, to learn what's the message behind the story, or to understand what it's trying to explain. Not necessarily. Yeah, I was just talking from a whole.
And it's hard for you to just say. It's hard for you to say the Bible is just theological.
No, I mean the study of a religious book is theology. You get? I mean, I feel like you're coming from a perspective as a Christian, but like someone who's not a Christian.
Okay, wait. You know, theology, I get you, but it's hard to just put Islam or what's it called? And Christianity into just theology or Judaism into theology. Because they're actual historical doctrines, what I'm trying to tell you. Now, theology, from my understanding, like, for example, Odin will be theology. Because nobody can verify of Ragnarok or any of these things.
Okay, but what I would say though, the study
like Greek mythology, that's what I mean. Like when they talk about Zeus.
See, okay, that's a whole different conversation. But what I would say is that Catholic priests study theology because they want to understand the Bible better and read the meaning behind, like maybe the meaning behind. It's not just ordinary reading the Bible. It's an actual education. Theology is the education part of it. It's educating you about whatever religion you're studying.
Yeah, trying to understand God or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever, yeah. But so maybe Greek mythology, those ones, they're not at the same level as Christianity.
That's what I'm saying.
Right now. But doesn't mean it's not theology, you guess, because studying the Bible is theology.
Because the Bible is a history, like it's supposed to be like a historical doctrine as well. Too.
Yeah, but it's not really that historically accurate, and it's not really the point. Like it's not.
But that's what I'm saying. What do you mean it's not historical accurate? To who? To what?
So his actual real life historians.
So the same way.
They don't study the.
My point is, if a story is about the Jews, how can you, regardless of what you think you might like? Okay, for example, like a Jewish encounter with Egypt. How can someone from Rome say it never happened?
Well, see, let me just speak like if I'm a historian.
I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
I'm a scientist. I understand. If you're telling me your story, that's your story. Okay, but if I want to,
his story,
that's your own story from your own perspective.
His story. I know. I'm telling you, the historical. His story.
You know, because everybody. Guess what? Everybody's a hero in their own story. Right. That does not.
No, Alexandra is a hero in every story. That's why it's a big story.
Yeah, maybe for some people, but the people.
So, what is Alexandra? Your story?
The people, maybe if Alexander the Great conquered my people, to me, he's not a hero; he's a villain.
That's your point. Stories
can change based on who it is. You get, but the Bible is a book for Christians by the Jews. You know what I'm saying?
And therefore just part of history.
The process of history and science is research and finding out about this. Of course, they could defer to the Bible sometimes to see how they narrate things.
Do you understand that the Jews, like you can still go to the Jews, to their museum, and you can see the scroll of David, like how they wrote it, like into the way you see it in the Bible.
I feel like for you, you're already on one state policy. I don't know if Charlo had one state policy as your opinion. But just give your take on how you feel like the war.
See, my take is he came up with the one-state policy idea. That makes sense. That would work. That's probably what Israel wants now, right?
I mean, no, I don't. I mean,
I'm pretty sure they want to get Gaza, right? They want it everything.
but that's not a one. Yeah, like that would be like just taking.
Taking
Yeah,
it, yeah.
yeah.
But this other guys, Hamas and the rest, they want. I don't think there's going to be peace if it's either they find a way to convince those Palestinians that okay, come into Israel, we accept you as part of us, or I don't know if that's.
kind of shady.
I don't think that's possible. Yeah, because if they don't,
I mean, someone would have
Palestine
to at any point have a forgiving heart. And one person would have to.
They need to give either give them the. I think they need to give them the independence, honestly, because if not, I don't see. Peace is not gonna. There's not gonna be any peace in the next coming years. This war has been going on since I was small, even before me. As long as they don't have their country, they'll keep fighting. So it's either genocide.
So you think even
or
are you saying even if they if they have their country and they won't fight?
I don't know about that, but at least maybe they might have to find a new beef. But right now, this beef
To be continued.
this beef just give them their country.
To be continued.
Honestly,
Martin?
Yeah, I mean, I really would just advocate for the one state policy. Honestly, I believe it's gonna be a hard task because everybody that is feeling like they have some kind of self-interest would have to gain. Like this is all based off of self-interest because if everybody takes out their self-interest and the Palestinians can have a forgiving heart after all this, which anybody, I'm pretty sure that's not any old story. The Igbos had a forgiving heart after the civil war in Nigeria. The Southerners had forgiving heart after the war in the civil war in the United States to create the United States of America. You know, someone will have to create a forgiving heart, but Israel needs to find a way to invest its money, or the ICE should actually make itself relevant, or the UN they should make themselves relevant. Like you understand what I'm trying to say? Make yourself relevant and put money, all this money. Why I don't understand why the United States keep allocating so much money to Israel. Why can't you allocate that money to Israel Palestine? We've had this war. We can use the name turn it from something terrible to something peaceful. Israel Palestine as a one general country. You understand what I'm trying to say? Demilitarize everybody. No more. Hamas got to go as quick as possible, and demilitarize the whole place. Create a one-state police system to make sure everybody's safe. Don't even let any one Jewish investor say, no, I want to invest in this part. No, make sure all the money that is gone into one big pocket, which will be the UN. And they're the one funding every district. Maybe create this area, maybe still have Tel Aviv, still have Gaza, or I'm just giving an example right now. Maybe they want to change the names from all the atrocities that has happened. But make sure that the UN is one building the kind of neighborhood. Maybe it's a nice, fancy seaside neighborhood you want to build in Gaza. Build that over there in Gaza. And people that want to live by the seaside, be Jews, be Palestinians, can live over there. And they have their, what's it called? For governance in the area. They will have people, proper religious scholar that advocates for proper Islamic peace doctrine, and people that advocate for Jewish peace doctrine. That are people that are there to put as head leader, because you always have to have a leader of an organization, just in case a little uprising comes up, people know who to talk to. You have those people are the ones that are running those kind of scholars running the kind of policies that's governing the area. Create different kind of a community and make sure that none of this, instead of the Iron Dome just protecting Israel, the Iron Dome is there to protect all of that area from any extra geopolitical influence or whatever the case might be. And they make sure everybody's straight. It sounds like a fantasy depending on who's gonna be writing the check. But if we really do say we want to stop having war in the Middle East, come on now.
I don't think
and make Jerusalem the capital.
Besides the actual Hamas and whatnot, I feel like the people who live there probably don't want war. I don't think anybody who experiences war wants war. So I'm pretty sure they can find the very important people who can help maybe like spur some kind of like protest against the Hamas amongst those Palestinians there. And maybe bring them over to their side and maybe even if it's indoctrinate them, let them like see the history of all these people and make them realize that see this we are all actually related. Show them the history of like how Babylon exiled all those people, this and that, like the origin of the Canaanites and everything. These are all different tribes who live there together in peace way back in the past. Maybe not always in peace, but that they can actually be one country. You know what I'm saying? So maybe find a way to do that because it's not
Exactly. Like,
actually
honestly, bro.
alienating them like that.
If you have all this history within yourself, like, trust me, if this, from what he's saying, if these Jews cannot find this same understanding from what they're claiming, if they're really people of God, like the way he's able to make these biblical references, man, it got to be someone else that is running this the Jewish entity, man. Because no, you have to be able to find a way to sympathize with these people. Enough is enough, man. You cannot just, man, come on
Actually,
now.
make them understand, like, yo, you guys were dominated by the Arabs. That's why all things are Arabs right now. But we're still brothers.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by positive scholars running the community.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, outside of you guys having a different way that you want to worship the same God, from that you guys understand that you come from Abraham. So outside of having different ways and Abraham's and your great grandfather's great mistake for listening to Sarah and sleeping with her maid.
Gas to burn.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys always like what it's called reform. Going back to understanding that something was messed up. Let's act it right. But because that wouldn't, hey, back to TV Joshua. Anyway, good title with. If people are looking for a certain kind of fantasy, someone is willing to present it for you. Look, someone is willing to present an illusion. That's why Hamas can have a name. When they have no choice, someone like Hamas is willing to present to them that, look, we're going to destroy Israel that way. We're going to be shooting 1973 bazooka into their space. Like, come on now.
Alright, boys.
Hey, but anyways, it's been a great convo.
Yeah.
And we hope we do.